So
Yeah, totally.
You know, flip mode.
One, two, three,
by the
four,
fireplace
five,
or something.
6,
Deadpool
7,
Yeah.
8.
Have you
I've been
seen
playing
the new,
games for years, yo. They made me an animal. Gamers need tips since they stopped making manuals. Step-by-step pamphlets for you to get your game on track so you won't be whacked. Rule numero uno, yo, if shooters are your bag, don't camp out in high spots, don't capture the flag. Nothing wrong with taking advantage if you can manage, but there's a thin line between technique and spamming. Number two, if you getting beat, you gotta take it. No unplugging, real gamers don't rage quit. Number three, know your role if you're part of a team. Heal is heal, shoot is kill, you can't fall in between. And number four, your music on live chat will just get you muted.
it's gonna be a lot
No
for me to cut
excuses,
to.
ain't trying to hear that. Number five, if you do manage to stay alive, you will never get by taking someone's supply. Number six, make sure you got some strong Wi-Fi. Booty connections are no good, I say bye-bye. Hi. Number seven, if you do give me your record, ain't no need to send me trash talk within a private message. Dudes be acting like they won the Super Bowl when it's only one game, my dude, keep it under control. And number eight, thou shalt respect casuals, keep it peace, first timers make mistakes, it's natural. I remember day one on Gears, I got cussed out and clowned, so I haven't played in years. Number nine, no racism or sexism, just cause they're different, there's no reason to mess with them. And lastly, rule number 10 is have fun. Remember it's a game whether you lost or won. Follow these rules, you'll enjoy gaming online. Casual or midnight standing in the long line. Folks IRL knowing you by your call sign. We can hang out long like Jay Leno's jawline. Be one of the greats of all times. No scumbags cut back, getting beat like drum tracks. Hero of the team making epic comebacks. At least you'll enjoy your time and you should want that. Print these rules, stick them on your board with thumbtacks. Gotta go, more games to unwrap.
Get your game on track. Get your game on track. Super Nintendo, Sega Genesis. Super Nintendo, Sega Genesis. Get your game on track. Get your game on track.
Singing a song.
That actually would be pretty good. I would pay to do that.
Game on track. Super Nintendo, Sega Genesis. Super Nintendo, Sega Genesis.
T-minus 3 minutes. Are our mics on during this?
Yeah.
Yo, Eric, I gotta shout you out, man, cause I wasn't even gonna do this one until you said something. But you was like, yo, I gotta flip it, you know, flip mode.
1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8.
I've been playing games for years, yo. They made me an animal. Gamers need tips since they stopped making manuals. Step-by-step pamphlets for you to get your game on track so you won't be whacked. Rule numero uno, yo, if shooters are your bag, don't camp out in high spots, don't capture the flag. Nothing wrong with taking advantage if you can manage, but there's a thin line between technique and spamming. Number two, if you getting beat, you gotta take it. No unplugging, real gamers don't rage quit. Number three, know your role if you're part of a team. Heal is heal, shoot is kill, you can't fall in between. Number four, your music on live chat will just get you muted. No excuses, ain't trying to hear that. Number five, if you do manage to stay alive, you will never get by taking someone's supply. Number six, make sure you got some strong Wi-Fi. Booty connections are no good, I say bye-bye. Hi. Number seven, if you do give me your record, ain't no need to send me trash talk within a private message. Dudes be acting like they won the Super Bowl when it's only one game, my dude, keep it under control. And number eight, thou shalt respect casuals, keep it peace, first timers make mistakes, it's natural. I remember day one on Gears, I got cussed out and clowned, so I haven't played in years. Number nine, no racism or sexism, just cause they're different, there's no reason to mess with them. And lastly, rule number 10 is have fun. Remember it's a game whether you lost or won. Follow these rules, you'll enjoy gaming online. Casual or midnight standing in the long line. Folks IRL knowing you by your call sign. We can hang out long like Jay Leno's jawline. Be one of the greats of all times. No scumbags cut back, getting beat like drum tracks. Hero of the team making epic comebacks. At least you'll enjoy your time and you should want that. Print these rules, stick them on your board with thumbtacks. Gotta go, more games to unwrap.
Get your game on track. Get your game on track. Super Nintendo, Sega Genesis, Super.
Hi, Twitch. How you guys doing? Welcome to the Super Magical Podcast.
Mm-hmm.
Welcome to the pre-show. This is pre-show time. Yeah.
Mallow.
Yes.
You looking real bright over there, man.
Am I?
Yeah, you looking surprisingly well lit.
Thank you.
I don't know. Did you do something?
Did
you get something? Did you get some work done?
I got some work done in the studio. We have lights. We have professional. First came the professional mics because we were a podcast. Now came the professional lights, and now comes the Starman glasses.
Yeah,
Yes.
Oh yeah.
And now comes the Macho Man Randy Savage impersonations.
I gotta do a little bit of work on this one. I'm gonna be honest with you.
Woo! That's all I got. It's me and Ric Flair go way back. That's all I got. Cool. How's everybody doing tonight? Everybody doing good?
I hope you're doing well.
Yeah.
Letting it roll for a little bit. Getting warm.
Getting warm. Yep, we're a little late to the game tonight. We apologize, but we will get we'll get back up on it here in just a moment.
Standard technical difficulties.
That you will talk about on the Hot Minute.
Yes.
Yeah.
I've already recorded my bitchy hot minute regarding my phone shit.
Cheers to your health. To wine.
Like the 120th ounce of water I've drank today.
Yes. You and me both. I've been getting into the water.
Yeah.
So. All right. If you have any comments, questions for us live, just throw it to us on the chat. Harass us. Do whatever you want to do. We're easy.
Easy like Sunday morning.
If you don't go full fucking Elton John on me in this episode, I don't know what I'm gonna do.
I just need to get this piano back here that I clearly don't know how to play, and I'll just like.
La 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 la. Hey chat, what's our S word this week?
Good question.
Hoover, do you have an S word?
Hold on. I did. I'm like totally like dictionary S words.
I have Sansa E, but super arm. Oh no, I remember what I was gonna use. A very swifty. That's the thing from the show, right?
Yes.
Okay. Yes.
Swifty
yes.
was a jam.
Mallow has watched.
He's getting with it.
I got this.
He's getting with it.
Okay.
Swifty was a jam.
All right, guys, let's start the show. Welcome to Super Magical Podcast, a weekly interactive podcast where we take a sincere, sarcastic, and this week a very 50 look at the world of video games. No, all gaming.
All
TV,
gaming.
music, movies, and more. Joining me in the studio as he does every week is Hoover. How are you, mate?
Well, I came rolling up to the studio, pumping the Bad Touch by the Bloodhound Gang, so pretty tight.
You're feeling good. Yeah.
Feeling tight.
Classic album. Classic. We are streaming live around the world on Twitch, twitch.tv/supermagicalpodcast. Hello, Twitch.
Hello.
Thank you for joining us in the show. We invite you to leave comments, reactions, questions, and more in the chat, and we'll get to them as the show goes on. But whoever, we're just gonna jump right into the news. Something that's very near and dear to your heart.
My baby, my boo,
Your boo.
my first love.
Your first love of Samus. She locked up. She locked up behind Amiibos.
You know, I gotta say, might be the only one that I would buy an Amiibo for. I don't approve of it.
Yeah.
Don't get me wrong. I don't approve of it, but I'll do it for Samus.
For Samus?
For Samus.
Okay.
It's been a long time, baby. Like, I'll spend a little money on you.
In our household, we call this the Whitney Houston effect.
Mhm.
It's not all right, but it's okay. If you don't know, the new Metroid game for 3DS, there's a hard mode that is locked behind an Amiibo, so you can't do the hard mode of the show or of the game without having an Amiibo, which it just feels like you're trying to wrench $12.99 out of people again. Like,
Yeah, I mean, that's DLC by a different name. DLC by any other name is still DLC. Like,
yeah, I don't know. It just seems really. It seems for a console, which we've talked about the Switch a little bit. We talked about the Switch has sold 4.8 million units. Nintendo was never hurting for money before then.
mhm.
Breath of the Wild, I think, on Switch has sold about almost 5 million units.
Mhm.
It's not quite 1-to-1. I think it's a little bit more than that. They're not hurting for cash. So why this move? Why?
I mean, if there's any way that you can make a little bit of extra dough, sure. Are Amiibos doing well? Do we know? Do we have any numbers on that?
I don't know.
Like,
They have scarcity shit that happens with all of them. There's, I mean,
that
we have
seems
we
to
have
be
them behind the
Nintendo's MO.
scenes. We're gonna put them up here on the amps next time and stuff like that, and put some of our more fun things. But I can't find half the ones I want. I did get Mega Man, so I'm okay with that. But I mean, if they make enough of the Metroid ones, I think it's fine.
They won't.
So
Let's just put that out there.
Well, so
it's Nintendo. They can't manufacture shit. They're like, we want 5 million of these.
Yeah.
And then inevitably, the guy who was sent to go get the 5 million, just brings a minivan.
He forgot to carry
and he's
a comma.
Like, oh, fuck. I
made
don't know if I'm going
5,000.
to be able to get all these in my trunk, man. What kind of
Just-
courier service?
Just a stoned guy in Japan.
Mhm.
That would actually be pretty good. There is a couple of different amiibos for this. So there's a Metroid amiibo. So in Metroid Samus Returns, the Metroid amiibo unlocks Metroid Maker, a tool that helps you find nearby Metroids. In addition, it'll unlock Fusion Mode, a new mode that offers increased difficulty and features Samus in her fusion suit. I don't know what any of that means because I've only played a couple of the Metroid games.
Which other bounty hunter does she do the fusion dance with?
I don't know.
Fusion! Ah!
Yeah. Fusion mode also will only be available after finishing the game once, which I don't think is going to be a problem for you. No. Okay. In the new Samus amiibo that's coming out, the new Samus Aran amiibo will unlock the Aeon version reserve tank.
Mm-hmm.
Is that how I pronounce it? Aeon?
Sounds right.
Aeon? I don't know. Allowing you to recharge your Aeon.
Keep in
Aeon.
mind, I've been mostly reading this my entire life. I've been having this issue recently where I've been listening to the Wheel of Time books, and Joe, old Joe, obviously has read all of them. So I'm trying to talk to him about all this shit, and I'm like, yo, when Moraine did this and Roydion and all these names are just fucking absurd, right? And I know I'm not he's looking at this how are you spelling all these things this poorly?
That call out for the Wheel of Time is not just for Joe too. That's for Ben. Thanks for watching the show.
Hey, thank you, Ben. Wheel of Time.
Wheel of Time. He wants to come on the show and just talk about Wheel of Time the whole time. So I'll just get up, leave my spot. You two can have it, and y'all can just converse. And I'll sit over on the side and drink more wine.
I'm loving it.
It'll also so that Samus amiibo will also unlock Metroid 2 art gallery. Once the game has been completed once though.
Mm-hmm.
So I don't know. That's amiibos in there. It's a little weird, I gotta admit. I don't like this whole thing of, putting stuff behind amiibos and all that kind of stuff. But hey, it's hard mode. It's extra stuff, I guess. So.
Yeah, I don't know. It's slowly been just a downward spiral since people realized that they could like append their games after the fact, right?
Yeah.
So you had like old school games that would like here's like the expansion content or whatever,
Yeah.
and we're selling it for $30 instead of $60, and people are like, eat that up.
Yeah.
Sells well because it's a game that did well, and it's it's operating off of that nostalgia and whatnot. And then it was like it just got like smaller and smaller. Like, yeah, it's just like it's these little things. And then like internet got to be a big deal, and PC games were like, oh, we'll patch stuff and we'll fix stuff after the fact. And then those things kind of married as everything got a constant online connection.
Yeah.
And now we're at a point where it's like, doesn't matter if it doesn't fucking work when we ship the game. Like, we'll patch it with day one, and we've already segmented off the game, and we got these fucking paywalls in here. And
Right.
I hate it.
I know,
hate the
it's
shit
not,
out of it.
It's really stupid.
I feel like that's why I'm gravitating really heavily towards indie games anymore, because it just feels like honest to God gaming. Like, Pete hates the shit out of Hollow Knight, but I don't mind having paid that, because they're like, here's the whole game.
Right.
And like,
right.
even though I got to a point where I was like, I don't like this anymore, I still felt like I got my money out of it.
Yeah.
It wasn't like I got to a certain point and was like, oh, I got to shell out another $5 for the rest of this fucking game.
Or loot boxes.
Ugh.
Or loot llamas.
I love Fortnite. We talked about that last week, but shit.
Yeah.
They have like 15 different types of currency, and I'm pretty sure you can go buy any one of them.
Destiny currently is that way too. I actually did some checkup on that.
Yeah.
Destiny has a literal fuck ton of currencies, and I think Destiny 2 is going to have a little bit of the same in the end game. And so apparently after the area that we've all been playing in, it gets a lot harder from what we've been told. So yeah, so I guess, I mean, it makes sense after a while, so I don't know. It still seems like a grind fest to me.
Yeah.
So, the thing that we were going to talk about this week, I know I mentioned Pyre. So, would you consider Supergiant Games an indie developer still? They put out Bastion and Transistor. Does that still keep them in the indie crowd, or?
Yeah, I mean, yeah, I'd still call them.
They're not owned by Sony. They're not owned by. I don't think they are, at least.
Yeah, I don't think so.
Type.
Supergiant Games. Did anybody buy you recently? Anybody?
As we look it up real quick.
Yeah, I mean,
they're not on Wikipedia. It does not look like they have. It was founded in 2009.
I mean,
they're not owned by anything. It looks like it's a privately held company.
Like Double Fine has been around forever, but I would still consider them indie gaming, because all their smaller titles they release as they popped up as like, would you?
They
also
are,
like
but they
Double
do
Fine?
so many things wrong in their
They
Kickstarters
do.
and shit like that. Like, I don't want to.
They do, but that's neither here nor that's
Okay.
that's them
No, that's fair.
mismanaging
That's
the business. But
yeah.
But
Their
as far as
games
their
are good.
games go, they're
Yeah.
like, here's the game. This is the game. And you bought it and you paid for it.
Stacking was one of my favorite games from them.
Yeah.
I know everybody loves Psychonauts and stuff like that, which I feel like is an amazing game. I love that I can get it on Steam and stuff like that.
Missed the boat on that one.
Pick it up.
It's actually in my library, but
Yeah.
I'm afraid it's so old that I'm gonna be like, this could be great, and then I'm gonna boot it up and be like, this is.
No, I mean, put your mindset in the time period that it is in.
Yeah.
That it was when it was created, and it's not bad. Yeah, it still kind of holds up.
Cool.
It's got the crazy ass storyline to it and stuff like that, which is fantastic. So.
Nice.
But no, Supergiant Games. We're going to talk about it this week. We'll definitely review it on the podcast next week. Pyre. So Pyre is this like I thought it was gonna be like Bastion and Transistor, and it's gonna be like Transistor was like part turn based and cyberpunky and all this kind of cool stuff. Pyre actually has some sports elements into it, about the same kind of sports elements that like Rocket League has. So it's like enough to kind of keep me going. All right, that's cool. This is not an EA sports game. I'm interested now. And so we're gonna review that. I got the review copy down and stuff like that. So we're gonna take a look at it and review it this week. It looks really fun. It's got a little bit of combat to it. It's got a lot of kind of things.
And as usual, I'm a sucker for the art.
The art is amazing.
You give me those.
Cannot wait for that.
You give me those bright colors.
Yeah.
All about it.
Yep. Hunter Chan, what's up, buddy? Thanks for joining the show. You've got down here, Walmart accidentally put the SNES Classic up for pre-order.
Yes, they did. Way ahead of schedule because supposedly it's not going to be available, or like the pre-orders aren't going to be available for a very long time. And they sold out like in minutes, and then they had to get up on their
So
Twitter.
they had a pre-order of 2, maybe. I don't know.
Yeah. Who knows what exactly it was, but they had to get on their Twitter and they had to be like, sorry.
Yeah.
We're going to have to refund everybody. None of that counts. Start over.
A little bit. I think there was a couple of people that say they confirmed, quote unquote. I've seen it both ways. I've seen a lot of people post their replies back that says, no, you didn't get one. We're sorry. You know, we sold you one, but they don't actually have one to sell you and stuff like that. And I've also seen some people who say, I have one, and that's cool, but I don't know if they're actually going to get one, kind of thing. It was like a little bit like we had for Target, where I didn't know if I was going to get my Switch or not on timeline. So this is happening a lot with Walmart and Amazon, especially. I don't know what's up. Amazon had Treasure Truck NES Classics on down in Seattle this weekend, and they were gone in about 2 seconds, even though you had to physically go find the truck in downtown Seattle. You know, it's just an interesting kind of like, you know, because I think they've already sold out in England.
Yeah,
in the EU, I think they're already sold out. They haven't gone on sale here in the US, but I think they're sold out in the EU.
I know. Pete and Joe vehemently disagree with the whole retro console thing. I don't know what exactly you feel about it, like definitively, but
we made a video of the unboxing that never actually made it to YouTube.
Yeah, that's the thing. But I mean, like, I was pumped for the NES Classic, and like I don't have a ton of hours on it, but I like occasionally sitting down and playing Castlevania or something like that.
Right.
And you know, the argument is like emulators are a thing, but I want that officially sanctioned, that blessed, like, here you go, out into the world, SNES.
Yeah.
Joe and I have had like a long debate about whether that hurts retro gaming or if it provides a nice introduction.
Yep. Is that going to be a hot minute?
Ooh, that would be like a hot hour and a half.
Well, let's do a hot 2 minutes, and we could do pros cons. Because I'm on the other side of that fence of like, yeah, if I can get my hands on the classic console, okay, cool, because, you know, in the studio we're going to have, you know, racks of the old stuff. I'm collecting it all again. And I just really like that kind of thing. But, you know, it doesn't make a lot of sense to go shell out $60 for the, you know, sanctioned thing when it's still probably not going to get all the games you want. It's really hard to get the old Famicom. Like, I'd rather just go buy the old Famicom boxes or the ones you can get at like Pink Elephant or Another Castle or something like that. We talked about this a little bit on the show.
Yeah.
I'd rather just get those or retrofit a 64 GameCube that I found or something like that to make it run on modern hardware, because it's just too damn hard to find these. Like, they're trying to make it collector's items, and I totally get that. There's a lot of nostalgia there. But I just can't, like, I can't abide trying to go find that stuff. You know, I'd rather support the gray market of people selling GoldenEye for $70, $100, $300. I mean, it's crazy that they're doing this much, but at the same time, you know, that's somebody's thing, and there's dealers and traders and all this kind of stuff at all the conventions we go to. But I think I'd rather support that than trying to support Nintendo there. Or play it authentically, at least.
I tell you what, I'm going to look into it. I'm going to try to get one, but I'm not going to.
Yeah.
The last time, I stood out in the cold for 4 hours just to get one, and I'm not doing that shit again.
Yeah.
Like, don't expect me to do that every year for you, Nintendo. Like, you got your hooks in me, like, straight off the bat. Like, I'm ready to do this, but don't annual release some archaic shit and like, ooh, you need this one this year. Like, my enthusiasm.
That's the Magic of the Gathering thought, by the way.
The fact that they only waited a year to do the SNES Classic, it's got me worried that they're going to be like, next year they're going to be like, and a tiny GameCube, and a tiny N64, and a tiny this, and a tiny that. Like,
they didn't even optimize the games. They don't optimize very well for these either.
No, yeah, I figured they would do some stuff like cleaning them up for the NES, but you still have stuff like, you know, like flickering and all kinds of shit like that, like you had in the original. Shit.
Yeah, if they're going for nostalgia's sake, that's the right way to go. But I don't know. It seems. I don't know.
So I approve but disapprove of the whole.
It's an okay but not okay?
Yeah. I don't want it to I don't want to participate in some sort of Mad Max-esque like dash for this shit.
Yeah.
You know.
Is that a segue?
It is a segue. Speaking of Mad Max.
I can't burp right now. I'm trying to burp on command. I can't do it. Can't do it.
Oh.
I was trying to like be like Morty. Like, but I was like in the pre-show in our fucking pre-roll, I'm like burping and doing the thing. Pete would be so disappointed in me.
I don't know. Pete's protecting that branding.
He is.
Which I mean, like, is technically, I guess, Dan Harmon's brand. Whatever.
Right. Yeah.
Whatever. We love it.
We love
That's
it.
the point.
Rick and Morty's back. Yeah. Episode 1, which I sort of cashed, came out on July 4th. But I didn't think about it until I sat down to record all the episodes and stuff like that so I can keep up with it. And then watched episode 1 and have my wife actually laugh at some of the jokes.
Well, the first one came out on April Fool's Day, actually.
Oh, no, you're right. It was
everybody
April Fool's Day. You're right.
Everybody was like, no, it didn't.
Yeah,
like,
you're right.
Fuck, it did.
Yeah.
What?
And that was where the Szechuan thing came up. And
yeah.
There was a little burp, but I couldn't do it. But yeah, so that was a great first 2 episodes so far.
Yeah.
I mean, it might be because I'm just still very new to the show. I've only gotten through so much of it. But as we were talking about it, the Doctor Who thing, it doesn't matter. Like, you just kind of jump into it, and the way they've written this show so perfectly is you can catch up on what's going on immediately, and then it doesn't matter. It's just, you're just into whatever's in that episode.
Yeah,
it's fantastic.
They have a continuous story between like the first and last episode of every season, and then every season also like they work off of each other as well.
Yeah.
But the meat and potatoes of every episode is a standalone event.
Yeah.
As stated in the first episode, it's high concept sci-fi rigmarole. Like it's just every one of them is just like, what if this?
Right.
And then they just take off with that shit. And it's so this week we had part of the arcing story.
Yeah.
Is spoilers.
Oh yeah. Spoiler. We just had somebody drop off because of that. Yeah. Good.
Part of the
fuck it up for you.
Part of the arcing story here is like I'm suddenly drawing a blank on that. Jerry has separated from Beth, and he's coming in, and like things are just kind of awkward and whatnot, and like the kids are going through their own shit, and they're like, come on, I don't want to deal with this shit, we're gonna go on an adventure. And Rick's like, okay, and just like get into the portal, and it's like, oh look, it's a Mad Max wasteland, post-apocalyptic wasteland with
lots of
assless
like, chaps.
Lots of assless
chaps.
And then high concept sci-fi rigmarole.
Yeah. I was really hoping they would give a nod to Tina Turner in the Thunderdome portion of that, because I started singing it when it was in there. I was like, we don't need another hero. Which I don't even know if it's actually from Mad. I think it's from Mad. I think it's the one from Mad Max, right?
I just love that. My favorite part, like my favorite thing about that episode is like the idea that all of these just psychotic people, as soon as they're given like the slightest bit of luxury back, they just like snap back into, oh yeah, well, like we can just like, we got TV, we'll just section off cul-de-sacs, and like,
we're looking at Murder Bowl, god damn it.
Yeah. Murder Bowl's been on today. I don't know. What do you want?
The overarch is kind of funny, and then like it was feeling really dark there for a little bit. Divorce kind of like, let's say it hits home or anything like that, but divorce is when you're a parent, you're just kind of like, ooh,
yeah,
that's not as funny anymore. And then they had the last scene where she brings him the skull, which I didn't know that the daughter gets in on it after a while. Like she's just like, fuck yeah, let's go on an adventure. You know, which makes it even funnier because like I just really didn't hope that Morty was just killing Rick the entire time, or Rick was killing Morty. Sorry, I'm gonna get the characters right eventually. but that he was, because I mean, Morty's stupid, but so it's kind of funny that is like a thing now.
Yeah.
And so she brings him the skull and all like that, and then the last line of like, "What hookers down there?"
Is that what they are?
Chris Parnell, who I love from Archer already,
yeah,
and is on this show, is just, I mean, his lines are just,
I love that
all
man.
the time, just
all the time,
on point. Oh,
I mean, he plays relatively the same guy in every one, but just because it's so perfect.
Yeah,
he plays that oblivious good guy.
Yep,
so perfectly.
I can't wait for.
Can't ever get sick of it.
No. Well, and I got to catch up with the newest season of Archer, the Dreamland one.
Oh,
and
yeah.
like that one gonna be really good too. So, yeah, Rick and Morty back. Woo,
woo, woo.
I'm excited for that. Do we know how many episodes it's gonna be?
I think it's supposed to be like 12 or 13.
12 or 13. Okay, so we're getting.
Yeah,
more
I think
of a
they're
British
trying to
run.
keep it consistent.
Yeah, that's good.
Number.
That's good.
Yeah.
I don't know if you guys saw, but the creator of Rick and Morty got a half gallon of Szechuan sauce sent with a letter that says, don't send it, don't give it to any mad scientists, and all that kind of stuff. So,
Dan Harmon.
That was I think it was all the creators, right? But I saw it on Justin's Roybison or whatever his name is.
Justin Roiland.
Roiland, yeah.
That's how did I remember a name and you didn't?
Dude, yeah.
Whatever. Anyway, I feel like maybe that's like their secret, right? Is they're just gonna keep on like making jokes about these things, and people are gonna be like, I guess we have to fix this or do this, and it's like they're like they're in there twisting their mustaches in the writers' room. What could we get next? Say the iPad is a piece of shit. And then Apple's like, no, it's not. No, it's not.
No. They wouldn't do that. It's they're gonna literally try to bring back every 80s thing that was awesome, like 80s and early 90s kind of like thing that they loved. They're just gonna like put it in the show. All the nerds will try to bring it back. It'll be great. I'd love that, actually.
I would love that too.
I don't remember the Szechuan sauce. As a fat kid that grew up on McDonald's, I don't remember that sauce.
It came out during Mulan.
Morty. Damn. That wasn't good enough. It was close.
Was Mulan the one that had like 98 Degrees? The band, right, that did the song, or am I thinking somebody else? Because that's like the only thing that I remember is like 98 Degrees having this music video and being like, yeah, girl.
That's where you go with this reference.
Is that?
That's where you go with it.
That's all I remember about it. Everybody's like, Szechuan sauce. That was my jam, and I'm over here like, but 98 Degrees, baby. I was learning how to love at like 8.
No comment. No judgment. But you know the story of Mulan, right?
Yeah. What are you talking like the actual thing? Are you talking about the animated movie?
The animated movie.
Yeah.
Okay. All right.
Yeah, like she goes and she pretends she's a dude, and she goes and fights in place of her father. Like, I'm the soldier that's recruited from that family, and she ends up like saving the Chinese emperor or whatever.
Yeah. Okay.
Right?
For a second, yeah, that's right. For a second there, I thought that was the only thing you remembered for that movie was the 98
Degrees Szechuan sauce. I gotta tell you, it was more important to me. I remember the music video too. They had like all these pretty lights, and it was all like reds and yellows. And at the time, I was like, "Oh, so pretty."
Put Hoover on the path that he's on today.
Thank you, Disney TV, for airing that music video like every between show.
The chat is like 98 Degrees. Really?
I want to look up the fucking song now. I'll sing it for you, baby.
You actually need to sing something else.
Hold on, let me think. I know. Wiener, 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 wiener. One wiener next to another wiener.
Wiener. Thank you, Game of Thrones. So if you saw our preview art for this week,
true to your heart, you got to be true to your heart. That's what it was.
Oh, chat, save us. Save us.
Sorry, Game of Thrones. Winner. Back over there.
This week was crazy.
Yes.
Is it R.I.P. Grey Worm yet? No.
I was ready to lose Grey Worm. Like I had a whole box of tissues that I had pulled out for.
Right.
I mean, it was either like a continuation of the sex scene or we lose him. I was like, I got him. I'm ready. I'm armed. Is the point? Fucking. If we're talking Grey Worm, Tyrion, that fucking monologue that he did over top of that, as a man I once knew said, "Give me 10 men, I'll impregnate the bitch." I was like, I literally like stood up and I was like, "What? Oh my god!"
It was a fantastic line in a show that this week had a ton of fantastic lines.
So many.
That
just
Grey Worm. Yeah, fire. Yeah. It was just like that was the most fan service thing ever. When the Red Witch was just like, "I've done my job. I brought together fire and ice," and I was like, "You've done more than George R.R. has ever done yet." He still hasn't brought them bitches together. God,
Red Witch. Thank you. It's like what's that old Family Guy bit? Like, I love it whenever they say the name of the movie in the movie, and then they cut to the theater and they do the line, and Peter's like, "Ha ha!" like in the background. I did the same thing. I brought together fire and ice, and I'm like, I'm just sitting on the outside. Ooh, she said it. She said it.
You just have a little counter in the corner, like ding. Yeah. So that was cool. But Martell.
Mm-hmm. Heavy as shit. And to be perfectly honest, if I'm feeling bad for Oberyn, I feel really bad for Oberyn, right?
Yeah.
Like, I loved the shit out of that character. I thought he was amazing, but I grew to hate his wife and children. Like, so that final that shit that Cersei put together, where she was like, "Here's the poison, and you're gonna sit here, and we're gonna force feed you, and we're gonna keep lights on her, and like you're gonna have to sit here and watch your child rot, like for the rest of your life."
Yeah.
I was just like,
that was...
damn, baby. They did not underdeliver on that at all. I thought they were gonna be like, "Well, I killed your kid." Me. It was just straight up like the most malicious, like, show of power ever.
Yeah.
The only way that lady's getting out of that is if King's Landing falls.
No. Because in the Telegraph, Elara Sand actress Indira Varma says, "I won't be coming back to Game of Thrones." So we know what happens.
Mm-hmm.
Thanks for ruining it, honey. Yeah. So, still though, I mean, there was a lot of poetic deaths in this season. But before then, Jon Snow hit the deck like he grew up in the hood when them dragons came around. I mean, that motherfucker hit the deck like somebody was shooting at his ass.
Yeah.
And I don't quite blame him. But I couldn't help but want to do like a riff tracks over it and just be like, and have like whichever one flew over him. I think it was Drogon. Just like fly over and be like, "What up, cuz?" Because that's what he is. If you think about it, he's a Drogon. His cousins to no.
He is.
Yeah.
He is indeed. What I would have liked to see if I had infinite money and resources is
the dragon itself?
Like the dragon flies over, he hits the deck, and then there's like the shot of him getting back up. I want just like that shot, and I wanted like Chris Rock to pop back up and be like, "Motherfucker, you can't Warner Brother first."
Yeah,
just riffing.
My favorite part was like Tyrion.
Like that's nothing.
Tyrion just acted like it was just like, you get used to him, kind of. And I was just like, no, you don't get used to dragons. Like, that's their idea of fun, is dive bombing your ass. Like, no, you do not get used to that from dragons.
I feel like instead of like used to it, he's just constantly acclimating himself. Like, this is it. This is done. This is fine.
All I'm saying is nobody checked Tyrion's pants for a little pee. Did that happen? I'm sorry. I'm just saying.
Tiny little diapers.
Yeah.
Which I guess are regular diapers.
Yeah.
Anyway.
So I don't want to say R.I.P. Grey Worm, by the way. I think, like we talked about last week, his ass is going to fight his way back across Westeros to get back to his woman's arms.
According to Jaime Lannister, which, by the way, great move.
Yeah.
Great move, Jaime. Like, there's times where I'm like, how are you relevant anymore? And then, like, that kind of shit happens where, like,
I mean,
Daenerys' whole game plan.
Yeah, but here's the thing about that. I don't want to give him all the credit because Baldy McBaldface, who had a spray tan between last episode and now, by the way, dude's looking a little creepy.
Mm-hmm.
Those shots of him with the Red Witch up on the cliff, he's looking all ghastly. He's looking he's Slimer's little cousin. Like, if you go back and look at it again.
Yeah.
I don't know if he's feeding shit back to, because Cersei's not that smart when it comes to tactics.
No, but Jaime earned his title.
I guess
right?
so.
Like,
yeah.
he's top fucking notch, right? Yeah. And the Lannisters were never a joke. Like, they just had that power, right?
Yeah.
And now they just don't have as much power. So Jaime has had his shit wrecked a handful of times.
A handful?
Okay. Right handful of times.
Right.
Not a left. A right handful of times. And he's learning, right?
Yeah.
Like, that's what it is. So yeah, I feel like he definitely has license to learn and adapt. And actually, I like him being this smart, calculating war master. Like, I'm totally down with that. And he really upset the game a little bit, which is why at the end of the episode you got Dany like, whatever you got to do. Like, I gotta get you on my side.
Shit's about to go down next episode.
It really lines stuff up. Like, how are these two like really stubborn characters gonna lock in together?
They are stuck.
God, that back and forth with them. Woo! I was like, he got it, she got it, he got it, she got it.
Yeah.
Like, that's it. This is where they cave. This is where they give in. And every time I was just like, really? You're gonna keep going?
There's a great meme of Daenerys and Jon looking back at each other, and Daenerys is like, "Yes, we have copious amounts of dragon ass. Would you like some?" And then Varys like leans in and whispers, and she's like, "I'm sorry, we have lots of dragon glass. I have plenty of that.
You can have my dragon ass." Yeah, I remember. You can have my dragon ass. I'm sorry, I've been told that you were looking for dragon glass, which you can also have.
Yeah, Varys looks a little bit double agency, maybe. I don't know. He's freaking me out a little bit. The Red Witch is kind of whole prophecy if she's coming back and stuff. Like,
I'm kind of ready for like the backstabbing, like flippy floppy stuff.
Yeah. To
be done. I'm ready to see that like clash, and I'm ready to see like how are we gonna make it.
Yeah.
Like, that's what I'm in for. I think if I found out that Varys was like, you know, I'm actually working for Cersei, and now Jon's dead or something. I don't know. Like, somebody
dead again.
We got Tyrion.
Yeah.
We got Tyrion. I'd be like, why though? Like, at
fans
this
would
point,
fucking revolt at that point. Yeah.
Yeah. That's not what I need. These last two seasons, I need like survival. How are we gonna survive? And like, if somebody's being stubborn in that, like, okay.
This is the thing, though. The stubbornness I get too, but the thing that I find interesting is there has to be, or at least they're writing it traditionally, that if there's going to be some good guys and bad guys at the end, and we don't know if there's going to be a happy ending because, let's be honest, it's Game of Thrones, right?
I think everybody's looking for that pie in the sky, like Jon and Tyrion and Dany ride off on dragons into the sunset.
Yeah. I don't know if that's going to happen, but the thing that is interesting to me is that, like, they're stalling just enough to make the constant things by like Jaime and Euron and all these little defeats. Actually, they're not little. Actually, they're taking out.
Yeah, they're big.
They're systematically, at this point, they only got like 13 more episodes in the whole season or series.
Yeah,
so like they're systematically like taking everybody out. And so I like that because it's building up this unbearable pressure over top of it that they're gonna have to like rise up and get over top of.
Yeah.
And I think that's a good setup, but that's very traditional. And I don't see Game of Thrones quite doing that, so it's a little like,
What if? I know you've said a few times you don't think Cersei's gonna bite it. You think she's gonna be around for a while.
I think she's gonna be around for a while. If anything, she bites it at the end of this season or the first episode of next season.
What if it's like this conflict is just, it spirals out of control, right? Like Jon is trying to get back or whatever, and like we're trying to make things work, and the wall falls or the White Walkers start taking the north or whatever, and then it just has to, because you're talking about that was a good point. Like there's not really good and evil in George R. R. Martin's mind. It's just like it's all a matter of convenience, like what's going to serve these purposes best. So keeping like what the audience views as the good and evil together, the fire and the ice together, not what we're thinking fire and ice, oh, Dany and Jon, fire and ice, right. But like Dany and Jon now have the alliance going. What if the fire to their ice or the ice to their fire is Cersei and Jaime?
Yeah.
And they end up having to work together to survive the winter.
No, I mean, this is the first long winter or long night that's come in recorded history, at least of Westeros, right? And the Night King being what we think is the 13th Night's Watch commander, who went off and actually made whoopee with one of the White Walkers. Or in the book, they're called the Others. Chad is gonna freak out. Okay, so as I understand it, right, the Others are the ones with the blue eyes that can raise the dead, like the Night King being like, "What up, bro?"
Hey.
So he's an actual Other. The actual the undead army is just people that work for him that is under his control. That's the thing. They're just like, they are not technically White Walkers per se.
They're like contractors.
A little bit. But they're like, like they're an apparition. They're known as like the Whites, right? And so that's an interesting sort of thing, is like there's been rumor that like the 13th Night Commander or something like that is actually the one that we see in the show with the thorny head and the crown and stuff like that. And that they've been way up north where it's uninhabitable and all like that, and now the long night is coming and they got enough people to come down and do it. Because remember, and this has been a long time, but remember, was it Castor's baby that the Night King just kind of sprung out, walked out of his fortress and picked up the baby and went whittle whittle whittle, and the baby turned. Where the fuck is that baby? Where the fuck is that baby? So that's what I'm saying. The ones that just like die and then immediately rise like zombies actually are sort of half sentient zombies, but they're not technically like magical. I mean, they're magical in the say that like the Night King is powering their powers.
I get what you're saying. So like basically that was those the Others breeding right there. Was he took like the
a little bit, or I mean, they may be able to breed amongst each other too. There might be a White Night Queen for all we know.
Might be a bunch of White Walkers up there getting nasty.
Yeah, we don't know. So we'll see. But I mean, they haven't mentioned the baby that's been there in a while, and I'm very interested to see if that comes up again here later. Also, Bran, could you be any creepier, you stupid fucker? That dude, and I called it. That dude's gone full on Mr. Manhattan.
Yes, you did. Yes, you did. He's like, I've seen everything.
He's like, I see everything. And I'm like, then why don't you? He's like, I must talk to Jon. And I was like, you could just warg into him. You could send a raven.
Are you not all things?
Like,
why can you not just do this?
I half expected him to make the tree start talking, like puppeteer style.
I did too.
Be like, look really at this trick I can do.
All the things I can do now.
Sansa, and then to describe Sansa's like rape scene as like his way of proving that he can see everything. Like, dude, that's weird. Even for like the three-eyed raven, that's fucked up.
Yeah, I kind of like anytime we get into those like I can see everything, I've seen everything kind of situations. I like. Surely they can't see it as granularly as they like to advertise. Like they go into these like minute details that only you could know, or whatever. But I feel like if they went that deep and they were like, I need to talk to Jon, I guess never mind, because you're going to say no. Oh, well, you were going to say no, but then I said that, so now you're going to say yes. But now me saying that, really kind of has put you off, and you're like, hey, what a dick. So now you're not going to do it. But, like, I really need you to do that for me, and I don't... Yeah, I guess I do know what I'm going to have to do later to get into that, but can we just do that now? Like, right, it should just spiral into, like...
It's a weird thing when you put somebody that can see all in time and history and space and stuff like that. Like, you know, because it's like Doctor Who, I can see all the time and mystery and space. He just hasn't figured it out yet. He hasn't figured everything out yet. Like, where's the line drawn and stuff?
Right.
So the final thing is what we will close in the scene. This week's rest in peace, Lady Olenna Tyrell, with the biggest mic drop in a very long time in Game of Thrones. Whoa. Straight up takes a shot and says, well, I didn't really mean for me to do that to Joffrey, but it was deuces.
I'm out.
Yeah.
Peace, bitches.
You know, she's lived her time. She knows what's up.
They were like, Wu-Tang. Jamie's like, you bitch.
So the question then becomes like, okay, so we got in the preview this week, Jamie looking at all the gold that they stole from House Tyrell and stuff like that. Like, what's Jamie thinking now? He sent Tyrion away.
Oh, yeah.
And
oh, yes.
It wasn't his fault. Mm-hmm. He nearly killed Sansa for it. Like, you kind of wonder if he thought he was being clever by doing this and just going and getting money. Like, for the moment that you thought that, like, okay, Jamie got some ass, he's going to do a thing that he can do, he's being brilliant, and again, the wool's being pulled over his eyes, and he's starting to see how all the game is played all of a sudden, and it's like, yeah.
That's the thing. I think Jamie is a genuinely good character.
Yeah.
Like, I think if we're looking at moral barometers, like, yeah, he's fucking his sister, but,
right.
Like, I guess everybody's got to have their negative, right? But generally,
yeah.
he's respectful to other combatants on the field. Like, he has his honor.
Yep.
He follows those knights' codes and stuff like that. The only reason that he betrayed his king was for the well-being of his people, and he tarnished his own name.
Yeah.
For the safety of the citizens. Like, right. he sacrifices. That's what he does. He is, if we're painting it down to black and white, he is one of the best good guys you could think of on, like, kind of the wrong team, right? Because nobody's like, yeah, House Lannister, they're the best. Like,
but House Lannister is like House Lannister, yeah, right? Because I mean, evil people don't think they're evil; they just think they're motivated by certain things, right? Mm-hmm. And her whole speech about, you know, Cersei is a disease and Jamie knows it and all this kind of stuff, and she was like, "Oh, you love him." You know, it's not a fucking secret that he's been fucking her. Like, come on. The other thing that's interesting too, you know that scene where the Iron Bank comes, and it's when Cersei and Jamie are hanging out and stuff like that, and she gets up and Jamie's like, nobody can see me like this, and she's like, fuck off, bitch, I'm the queen. Mm-hmm. They lingered on the person a little long this week.
Yeah.
That pixie-haired woman that came in all black.
Yeah.
That looks like an assassin.
That is clearly an assassin.
that could have been more assassin-like if it had worn a neon sign above it that says, I'm an assassin.
She did seem very distinct. She didn't seem like a plain clothes kind of individual.
No.
I don't know. Maybe she's some trigger at some point. Maybe Jamie's like fucking around with her or something like that, and Cersei finds out about it, and then like Cersei, I don't know.
What if that's Arya Stark?
Interesting. But she went back.
No, maybe she did not. Remember when she met the wolf last episode before last? She realized
think that changed her mind. We need to talk about something else, or this is going to turn into a Game of Thrones podcast. Moving right along.
AMD. I'm jumping along dark for a second.
Yeah.
AMD. The chat says AMD is kicking Intel's taint.
I love it. I love it.
Competition is back in the gaming world.
Here's my main complaint about AMD, okay?
Yep.
AMD, I vehemently disapprove. You have named your new cards the Vega series, and you didn't pair it with Doom. Really? I went with the Street Fighter joke there. The super-powered computer in Doom that runs the world
Yeah, but I went
His
with
name Vega.
But it was really funny because when in the chat before the show, or even maybe a couple days ago, I just put the gif of Vega going like this, like his like
about to kick some Intel ass.
Right.
Dude, I love everything that AMD is doing right now, except for the fact that they didn't pair it with Doom. I love
I
that
bet
they're
Doom
creating.
runs amazingly on an AMD.
I bet
if
it
you'd like
does.
to give us an AMD card, hi. We'll test it for you.
Baby.
We'll give you a good
We're
review,
here for you,
maybe
baby.
if it's good.
I'm super excited that they're just creating some competition because it
Yeah.
really has felt like Intel and Nvidia is just like basically just like won, right? Over
Yeah.
the last few years, you don't buy AMD stuff because there's no AMD stuff like
Right.
really that's worth talking about.
A Ryzen AMD build would be fantastic.
Yeah.
I'm thinking about going that way. We're gonna build a new gaming/streaming rig in the studio for when we want to do live casts. And Morty, I almost did it.
You're getting better.
Yeah. This is what drinking wine does to me. But no, like I'm thinking about doing the Ryzen AMD build together. I'm trying that because I've done Intel for a long time, Intel Nvidia, which was the standard when I built my rig several years ago. I'm willing to take a chance on it at this point, just to see if we can't get it a little bit better, or just to see if it like runs smoother on there. I think it's the price differential between all of the cards, the chips, and everything is starting to come out to be very much a win for gaming and streaming, which is fantastic. You can build probably pretty good 3D rigs on that if you could stream enough of those cards together. You don't have to worry about Xeon processors and shit now. The Xeon processors are expensive.
Yes, they are.
Which we have in the rig that's running this whole thing. Like, to full disclosure, the rig behind me has Xeon processors in it because at the time when we built the rig to run the show, it was the best we could find out there. So I don't know. I mean, it's competition is always good to me, and having the two major players back into it to me just signals hopefully an arms race, which would be fantastic. I'd love to see that coming out again.
Absolutely. So wasn't there? And I'm woefully ignorant whenever it comes to this, so you might have to educate me a little bit, or maybe our boys. We might be
the blind leading the blind. So.
maybe our boys in the stream can help us out a little bit too. Isn't kind of the big deal with the new AMD chipset like it's got more cores as opposed to like Intel's got everything down to where it's really fast and not as many cores, but AMD is like all the cores. Yeah. You may not be able to go quite as fast, but all the cores. Yeah. That's if I've got that correct, that means that they're also going to be kind of taking the whole like my whole field, like the whole creator field, by storm.
I'm
people
hoping
are going to want to switch to it because cores. I need cores.
Well, and I think that's where it's going to. The chat is blowing up, going Threadripper, Threadripper, Threadripper. That is, I guess, it's their own version of hyperthreading, which was what Intel and all of that was using, or Nvidia was using and stuff. And so now they have both, like they have more cores and the ability to use them all simultaneously, I guess, and be able to push more information through it. I think the joke that we had in the chat was that they would just send more electricity through it and just melt the core. But now they can distribute it better, and it actually does a better job overall. So,
core meltdown in 10.
Oh, I'm sorry. Chat is telling me that Threadripper is the name of the chip, not the hyperthreading. So I guess hyperthreading is just the thing itself. And then Threadripper is the name of the chip. They'll tell me if I'm right in a second.
Yep.
But that's exciting because it's like half the cost of like comparable stuff out there is about half the cost.
Yes.
The benchmarks are coming in better in a lot of ways. Like, I mean, it sort of depends on which benchmark you look at, right? But the benchmarks are kind of coming in a little bit better.
Linus's Life.
I think he did one, and then they just did another one the other day that we were talking about in the studio. That was like the core bench. Somebody in the chat saved my ass when it comes to that, whatever the benchmark that we're looking at for. But it was amazing. But it was like really, really good comparatively at half the cost, which it should drive all the rest of it down. Because the minute that Ryzen came out, I think Intel dropped the price on some of their chips.
Mm-hmm.
And then I expect that to continue to go down as we go forward.
So I mean, this is only good news for every bit of computing in any capacity. Like you get better cards, you get better chips, and you get competition between all those things. Consoles get more affordable, they get better. Your home computers get better and more affordable. And whenever people have access to tighter, faster technology, like that opens up creators to be able to build more complex things that could, that makes VR more viable.
Mm-hmm.
That in general, improving these things, fighting over the lead in this market, improves the world, in my opinion. So, thank you, AMD, for stepping your game back up. And it seems like it's just like, yeah, video games and shit. I guess it's a lot bigger than that, I think.
Well, because the Intel Core i7 is still, I don't think you can get the i9 yet. I don't think it's released yet. But I will say something else, too, that this is very important, because I am not the smartest cookie when it comes to doing computers, as people will know. With the Threadripper and stuff like that, everybody basically says, all right, it's a no fucking brainer. Make an AMD build. Put all of it together. But I will say something here on the marketing side, because that's what I do for a living. When you go to the Threadripper page on AMD, and you scroll down through some wonderfully over-the-top bullshit graphics, I'm just going to call it what it is, because let's be honest, it's stuff to make geeks like us go, ooh, shiny! But when you scroll down, it highlights, or as we say in the business, king makes, certain cards that work really, really well with the chip. Good fucking luck trying to find that on Intel's site right now. I just went and did a comparison. I don't know if I would buy any of these. They all look pretty good, but I don't know if they actually are good or not. I have to read some reviews and stuff. But they're all gaming. They're all supposedly like pro. And some of these are Asus, Gigabit, and MSI. So, all the brands that most of the people use out there, all the pros and stuff like that use. So big ups to that, because that's actually really handy, because if you want to get into gaming and you want to build your own rig and stuff like that, PC Part Picker is great, but it's not always the most handy. And you might not be like us and have friends who help the show out a lot and know all of this stuff. So yeah, looking at you guys on Twitch. Hey, how y'all doing? So, I don't know. It's kind of nice to actually see a real concerted effort going into that whole space.
To educate.
Yeah.
Thank God.
Yeah. So I love it. It's going to be interesting. I can't wait to see what the next holiday season gets us. That's the one that I'm really waiting for, is all right, how much can prices drop as you're trying to get Black Friday sales out the door? And, what can you start pulling together as far as parts go around the season? Maybe we'll do that as we get closer. We'll get some deals ahead of time and see what we can get out there for.
Yeah.
We'll do a little consumer research for you guys.
Yeah. AMD, you're doing God's work, lad. You're doing the Lord's work.
Yep.
God bless you.
Have you seen the new Deadpool poster?
I have not. Commence to Googling.
Commence Googling. It's actually pretty clever. Of what she's laying on and stuff like that. So we get Domino and we get Cable in the next picture. I think we still get Colossus in there as well. Which is fantastic. I can't wait. Josh Brolin is just doing everything right now. He's Thanos and Cable. That's going to be crazy. So have you pulled it up, the one with her in front of the fireplace?
Yeah, I think I got a cropped version of it, though.
Oh, yeah. If you're looking at Cinema Blend or something like that, you get the cropped version. But go to the Nerdist site on there, nerdist.com. So
way to make that plug.
Yeah. But she's laying on top of Deadpool like he's dead. And like he's a stuffed animal kind of thing. I think that's hilarious. I can't wait for this movie to come out. And I have a sneaking suspicion that Deadpool might actually end up in Avengers.
Really?
There's something about it that Ryan Reynolds has done a really good job. I actually watched a lot of interviews with him and some behind the scenes stuff when they were talking about making Deadpool and everything.
Uh-huh.
He's actually really fucking savvy at the sort of the Hollywood kind of thing. To make it work and to be able to self-produce this whole thing and to make it, to make a movie and come through with it and stuff like that. They've done a really good job with that.
Uh-huh.
And so I'm a little interested to see how that's going to work.
Okay. I'm not even going to go down that hole, but I'm
No, I'm
kind of
baiting
curious
you.
what kind of role Deadpool. I mean, like, I know the kind of role Deadpool plays whenever him and Thanos get together. Because Thanos gets this whole jealousy thing. I can't imagine that they would bring like Death herself into it and make the whole plot line about Infinity Wars Thanos just trying to impress Death.
Yep. I think that was just a little nod, to be honest with you. I don't even know if they're going to go into that whole thing by episode 2.
I could appreciate a nod, but I think if they went down that whole rabbit hole, while I may appreciate that, I think everybody's going to be like, the fuck did you just string me along for like 15 years for? What?
Yeah.
Thanos was just trying to kill a bunch of people to get in Death's pants.
That's been a storyline that I've always kind of been like, what? Like, really? Like, every time I was doing my all of my research for Infinity War and stuff like that, I'm like, really? That's a thing? Like, I know comic books, especially in the Marvel series, can go kind of bonkers because, like, you run out of ideas for these people.
Right. You get power creep, and you're like, I guess we're just working with universal entities at this point.
Absolutely. And
let's make the universe.
It's like we were talking with another fan of the show earlier this week, and we were out to dinner and all like that, and we were just like, yeah. And all of a sudden, the X-Men are just all of a sudden like riding fucking dinosaurs for no stupid reason, and like that's been restarted as a comic series, I think. Is the prehistoric X-Men thing or something like that, and I'm just like, this is bonkers as hell. Like, this is why I don't necessarily read Marvel and DC comics. Like, I stick to the indies for the most part, because it just gets nuts at the end.
It does. They're like, we got to keep writing this every other week, so fuck.
Yeah.
Sure.
You wanted to talk about The Long Dark.
The Long Dark. My God, man. The first survival game to leave early access. I'm not counting Don't Starve.
Okay.
Because Don't Starve isn't a survival game. It's a dry, dirty catheter of a game, is what that is.
You are right. Reading
it's terrible.
That's literally in the show notes.
Verbatim. Folks. It was important that everybody understand exactly how I feel about Don't Starve. No, actually, even Wikipedia doesn't call Don't Starve a survival game because it's terrible.
What do they call it?
It's like an action adventure something. I don't know. But it's not. They don't use the word survival in anywhere. But yeah, The Long Dark.
Yeah. Okay. Anyways, The Long Dark.
The Long Dark is out of early access. It has a single player game.
And
then like it's like really widely reviewed, very positively. Like,
have you played it?
Haven't, but it's been on my to purchase list, and now that it's not early access, I kind of feel okay with buying it.
Okay.
So,
yeah.
I think now that it's officially released, I'm going to go buy it. Good job, gentlemen.
One thing that I want to say, and this was brought to my attention via, and I'm going to give him credit, but Jim Sterling had it as one of his editorial topics.
Real quick, Pete would like to interject.
Oh, sorry.
Fuck Don't Starve.
Oh,
quote.
Okay.
Fuck Don't Starve. End quote.
End quote. All right, cool. I'm good with that.
Mm-hmm.
Have you looked at Sony's early access library?
I haven't in a while. I haven't gotten a chance to touch a PlayStation and
I'll give you
long.
I'll give you the TLDR version of Jim Sterling's video. Go watch it if you haven't. It's really good.
He's a good man.
A great man. Got a picture with him. What
kind of picture?
The nice kind of picture that sets up for the dirty kind of picture later.
Oh, okay.
He and
Boudoir set photo number 1.
Any day, Jim, all day, dude. If you're coming to PAX again this year, I'll be there. Come talk to me. Tree.
Like that we both thought the same thing. Sorry, carry on.
No, but it is shit. By the way,
yeah.
The TLDR version of that is Sony has done everything that Valve did wrong, and then like somehow figured out a way to make it worse. Absolutely worse. There was the game that was out for a little while. It's been in the news. It's called 5-star. What is it? It's like 5-star.
How did the gross incompetency of Xbox manage to get indie games correct?
Right. So this game is called the 5-star 1000 top rated. and it was advertising itself as the quickest and easiest way to get a platinum trophy on PS4. Sony, that was the only game that they have pulled out of all of it. And they didn't even pull it because they said it was like they pulled it because they advertised it was the world's fastest platinum trophy game. Only to ask them to change the name to a whole nother string of SEO bullshit. And then they put it right back out in the world with a press release that said, I really appreciate Sony working with the small indie gamers to make sure that we can get our content out there. Do you want to know what 5-star 1,000 top rated is?
Sure.
It's one of those little...
but we're doing a show.
We're doing a show. It's one of those tile puzzle games that you just click and the tile moves, and then there's and you got to make the picture. That's the whole game. It's like they uploaded their vacation photos. And in the game's description it tells you how to get the platinum trophy, or it used to. I haven't looked at it in PSN in a little while. Since it got pulled, actually I haven't looked at it since then. So that is the state of the PlayStation Indie Store, or whatever they call it over there. So the fact that you like a game that got out of Greenlight or got out of early access is fantastic, because right now we are swimming in two of the largest cesspools ever. This is like the one time Microsoft kinda gets it right.
Nintendo is shit too.
Yeah,
their whole they got a bunch of bullshit on there too.
Nintendo's marketing practices are kind of shit.
Let me address you two directly.
Oh
okay?
Oh shit.
Sony.
Yes.
Nintendo.
Mm-hmm.
Xbox is beating you. I don't know if you've looked at an Xbox recently, but they're really trying to figure out where their feet are right now. They're just all over the place. I don't understand how you can just be this you remember whenever Android first started getting big?
Yeah.
And we first started getting Android phones, and the Google Play Store was the Wild West, and it was
it totally was.
You could find the coolest shit on the face of the planet on there.
Yep.
But there was also here's this application that's just it just makes a fart noise and then it shuts your phone off.
That was the number one rated thing on Echoes for a while, was a fart thing.
Yeah, that makes sense.
Yeah, when it first came out, it was like that, and then I think the one that Joe uses all the time when it goes, Leroy Jenkins. I think those were the two biggest things on that for a while.
So here's what I don't understand. The both of you. If Xbox can get it right, and Google at a point where it didn't even understand what it was doing yet could get it right.
It was what's an app store?
How have you managed to filter out all the quality content out of your shit, but keep all the garbage?
Yeah.
It's this reverse sifter where you're I just want to keep all the broken glass and mix that into my pasta. I don't know why you'd have broken glass in a sifter, but still, it's
really unfortunate though right now. It really is. I don't really know what else to say with that. It's just really unfortunate. You have to wade through so much shit. We have 4 versions of a golf game, for crying out loud, trying to figure out which one's best.
Yeah, I'm okay with that.
I'm kind of okay with that in so much that at least they work.
Right.
But we even found a glitch that one night we were playing with Boat, where it just kept going.
To be fair, it was a beautiful glitch.
Did we get that on? I hope we got that recorded.
It's on my VOD on twitch.tv/HooverIsBad.
Okay, all right. So go back and look at that. It should be
up there for a couple more weeks.
Yeah. It was Golf It, right?
Yes.
Yeah, Golf It we played, and we had amazing
You'll
glitch.
know, you can click through it, because I doubt you'll miss it. It's a solid 10 minutes of us just pissing ourselves and laughing.
And watching as a ball goes through the stratosphere. It was insane.
It apparently breaks orbit, and then just there's no more gravity to pull it back down to Earth, so it just goes.
Yeah. It's so stupid. It's so stupid with all these things. So Did you want to talk about the HP Omen VR backpack? That's the last thing on our list today.
Yeah, nothing too big. Like, I don't want to go too crazy about this, but HP is marketing this VR backpack. It's literally a backpack with the headset and like the controllers and all that shit. And they're like, not for gaming. Don't use it for gaming. We don't want you to do that. We want you to use it for your workspaces. And I slowly turned to my left and looked at all of my producers. And then slowly turned to my right and looked at all my designers, who are all perfectly capable and competent people, and imagine them all strapped into fucking VR backpacks, and just like picked up my computer and was just, no! Don't do that! Don't do that to me! Don't make me endure this! I won't have it! HP! I don't mind it being a gaming console, a gaming thing, whatever you want to make it, but please do not make a VR backpack standard issue in the creator workforce.
They owe me a few dollars, by the way.
Hell.
I'm just saying, my copyright on Identico is copyright as of 2014. Mm-hmm. I have drawings of this technology for the game. HP, you owe me a couple of dollars.
Just a slice.
Just a slice.
You gotta pay this man his money, though.
The new hacker art looks way better than you dropped the bag. So.
I'm excited. You gotta at some point you gotta like print out that new cover and just like hold that.
The new cover, so that's
so beautiful.
That's a great pitch to the end of the show, actually, because you guys have been listening to the Super Magical Podcast. A big thanks to Mojav, to Hunter Chan, and to everybody else who is lurking in the chat that we actually can't see because you guys are lurking. Thank you for joining us this. The quick shout out here is that if you're coming to PAX West 2017, the entire Super Magical crew will be there. We're going to be doing something a little special for the podcast. Maybe a couple little special things for this podcast, actually. Also, the crew will be running games of Identico on Saturday and Sunday. These games are always highly sought after at PAX. They are specialty things that we're writing just for PAX. They are first come, first serve at the tables. And we're going to put out the signups coming up soon, and we'll blast it across all of our social media and everything like that, because we don't have that many spaces at each table. So if you're coming and you see us, we might wear something special. We were discussing in the pre-show. Just to kind of denote who we from. We got to rep our crew. I don't even know what area code we would all rep. For me, it'd be the 843. None of us are 206 guys, really.
I bend the knee to no area code.
So you say you have hoes in different area codes?
In different area codes. Area codes.
If you are listening to this as a podcast of our traditional listeners and want to interact with the show on Twitch, we stream the show every Tuesday starting at 8 p.m. Pacific. Come join us. We'll give you a shout out just like we did to our friends. The vodcast also runs throughout a few weeks on Twitch, and a rebroadcast happens on our YouTube channel. So if you prefer podcasts, though, please subscribe via iTunes, Stitcher. Leave us a 5-star review, and we'll give you a shout-out on the show. If you're watching on any of our other places, give us a follow. Make sure you say something nice, though, so we know who it is. Because if you just randomly follow, we don't know who's there and who hasn't changed from week to week. So all the links are in the show notes at the end. We do no paid advertising, so the goodness of your heart here on Twitch is all we have to go on. We love you guys, and those of you out in podcast land that's been helping us get us this far. Bless you, kids. You know what? Next episode is our 20th episode.
Our 20th
we did something
anniversary?
very special for our 10th episode. Maybe we'll do something special for our 20th episode. We'll see. If you have any ideas for that, hit us up on Twitter, on Facebook. Search Super Magical or Magical_podcast. The podcast is recorded here in Seattle, in my studio here. It is a production of Super Magical and Humanoid Games. Our executive producer is the ever-present Gator Pete. Our benevolent overlord is the wonderful Grandpa Joe. If you have a comment or question for the show, find us on Facebook or Twitter. Search Super Magical Podcast or the fancy little Twitter handles that are here on our lower thirds. From a man Hoover, for everybody in the chat, we will see you guys next week.